Hello, this is Paulo Jasmine, and this is going to be a very quick video blog. I just want to haven't done video blog in quite a while, so I just want to give an update on what I'm doing and all that kind of stuff. Um, so if you've been following me, so you may know that I have returned back to wrestling. I did that in April this year, pretty much. I did that in April this year. Um, and I've been working for a company called NAOTW in Massachusetts. I have continued training in wrestling since December last year. I've been traveling to Massachusetts, to Holyoke, Massachusetts, and I've been training at Kevin Landry's, also known as Kevin Kelly, in the wrestling business, in his wrestling school in Holyoke, Massachusetts, Pro Wrestling Combine, if anybody's interested in joining the school. Um, so I've been doing that since December. I had a tryout for Women of Honor. Um, yeah, it did happen. I submitted the application and I was able to go to the Women of Honor tryout in Bristol, Pennsylvania in March of this year. Um, do I think they will book me for a future event? You know what? You never know. It's wrestling. It's a weird business, and even though to be honest, I was scared because I'm openly transgender, um, and I was concerned that I wasn't going to be accepted at the trial. They gave me the opportunity. I I don't think they're. I mean, you never know. I mean, like even if it's just to take a beating and just make another of the established wrestlers that they have in there, I wouldn't mind doing it. Because why not? At my age. I, I just want to see how far away I can go, and I think just being able to make it to Woman of Honor or just for one match, that will be the highlight, and that's it. Man, it's uh, it's been that. I don't mind, like if it's just sad. Um, but yeah, I wanted to try out. Personally, I enjoyed going there. It was an interesting experience. I learned there from watching the comments that the instructor gave um, the participants of the workshop, and I made friends too, and I, I'm quite happy with what I did over there. Um, I, as I said, to me it was unexpected that they accepted me. I have, especially because two reasons. As I said, one of the reasons I'm transgender. I was concerned that they were going to look at my application and go on social media and found that. I mean, I'm open about the fact that I'm transgender too, so it's like pretty easy. You just have to go to my profile. My profile says that there I'm a transgender woman. Um, so that was my main concern. Also, um, the other thing was that I haven't been working shows as much as I've been wanting to. Um, Personally, I don't know what it is. I don't want to blame it on myself. There could be multiple factors. Um, I don't want also to blame it on the promoters, that they may not want to give it opportunities to women like me. But um, it could be, it could not be. But as I said, I've been working also in some shows in Massachusetts, thanks to the company called New Age Old Time Wrestling. The promoter decided to invite me to wrestle for a show, and um, I did a show quite recently. The video is in my links on here, so you can watch it. Um, and hopefully there will be more opportunities for me to wrestle for that company. And I do hope that more opportunities come in the future. Just because I'm transgender shouldn't be a reason not to book me. Um, it's totally ridiculous if somebody decide not to book me because I'm transgender. Like who fucking cares? And I apologize for using that word, but seriously, who fucking cares? Um, as Cody Rhodes have said in one of his posts on Twitter, wrestling is for everyone, and that's just the plain truth about it. Um, finally, I just want to talk about my job situation. So in April, I got um, let go from my state job, so that put me into a weird position um, financially because I lost my main source of income. Um, I was able to find a job through a staffing company working in manufacturing, but that job also fell off back in June, and um, and then um, and then recently I just ended up um, yeah, recently I just ended up um, having to work a temporary job and a scoring project in Menance for July in order to have some money. Um, I got I got to pay my expenses, and I just got lucky. I decided to go back with to Home Depot. Um, so my financial situation hasn't been that very good lately, but I've been able to manage. I just don't give up that easily, and I just keep applying until I find something, you know. Um, and right now I'm about to go into working two jobs. I got hired by a company in Scotia to work full time on the third shift manufacturing, and then I got hired by Home Depot again. So I got two jobs. Hopefully, I will have time to continue going to a gym and be continue doing wrestling training. And definitely, I will continue doing wrestling to working shows. Driving is going to be tricky, especially with living third shift hours, because you basically have to sleep during the day. That can be a problem, but I will knock on wood that that is not the case. I'll figure it out. Um, what else? Oh yeah, so yeah, my life in debt, because that's one of my main concerns. You know, like the dragon thing about all this is the debt that I have. I purchased a brand new car. I have a Fiat 500, and I purchased a new car in 2015, um, which is why I've been able to return back to wrestling. Because when for a while I didn't have a car and I couldn't go anywhere. The bus was limiting, so I couldn't travel for shows. I couldn't travel for training. Doing things, just going by everyday life was difficult without a car. Um, but I managed. But ultimately, like it was a limiting factor as to why I couldn't continue doing wrestling. I I, I moved to New York State in 2004 to pursue graduate studies. I wasn't expecting to stay this long in here, but I have ended up staying here because my culture in Puerto Rico, number one, is not very accepting of transgender people, and number two, um, the job situation in Puerto Rico is not very good. Like there's a lot of unemployment, so for me to stay around here was the better decision for myself. But it's also a sacrifice because, for example, I don't have the backup of my family. I don't have any family here. I live by myself around here, so it's a little bit more difficult to manage certain things on your own. So ultimately, I'm responsible for my life and my career. So losing a full-time job, it's going to hurt me, you know, because I don't have anything or any place that I can go if I need to reduce my expenses. So I still have to pay for my rent, apartment, um, and things like that in order to be able to survive. So so because of that, I have to take these two jobs. The other, as I said, I purchased a car. That's debt. But the major issue for me, it's not the car per se, because the car it's affordable. You know, like I can afford it. The one thing that is a big thing for me are my student loans. I owe close to past $100,000 in student loans. It's a combination of federal loans, which you can put on income-based repayment, and the payment is not as much, but it's still a payment that I have to pay every month. And then there's a private student loan, which right now I have a private student loan with a company called Navient, better known as Sally Mae. Sally Mae changed his name to Navient, and they are the ones that have my private student loan, and they are they're a tough company to deal with, and the private student loans are the biggest problem because I number one, I have not been able to find a job in my major, which is chemical engineering, um, that pays me enough money to be able to balance all my expenses plus save money. My budgets have been really tight for the last few years. Even though I have a relatively good job, I had to stick to a budget, or otherwise I could have gone into negative account balance. And I was working two jobs. I've been working two jobs since 2015, um, and I kind of it's crazy. Let me put it that way. Two jobs is a lot, and then add wrestling because I see wrestling as a job, so I have to put time into that. So I've been extremely busy. Like I barely have time. Like it's it's tough. It's possible to do it, but the sacrifices and all the effort, the time that you have to put, number one, to pursue what you really love, my passion, which is wrestling, and then have time to work, to be able to generate income to, to pay my living expenses, to pay my student loans. It's a lot of work, and sometimes you have to make sacrifices. Like there are times that I don't get to hang out with people because I have to go to work. Um, same um, with going to restaurant shows too. It's a job. So I'm always working pretty much. I'm working over like right now with this job. So I think I'm going to be working about 60 hours or maybe more during a week. But again, I need the money, and there the federal loans I have to pay them. Otherwise, they can garnish my wages. So the private student loan I could decide not to pay it, but like honestly, like I don't want to get into the shit with the company because that company is going to pursue me. And one of the things that they did in 2015 was like, uh, in 2015 I was working for a while at Home Depot and a lens crafter. I did not have the money to pay the company because what happened was I was paying 200 a month for a while, and I think it was the plan that they put was interest only, and I was paying the interest only for Sally Mae. But then they changed my plan. So my no, I continued that plan, and then but my payments went spike up. They were going to spike up to $425 a month, which will put me up. It was difficult to pay that with the money that I was earning from with the job from Home Depot and LensCrafters. Um, so they ended up calling me, and then I got lucky and I got the job with the state, and then they threatened to sue me. So they worked a deal with me, but I had to pretty much enter into an agreement. But the catch was that I had to make the payments, put the payments automatically. That every single month there will be draw from my account to pay that money. That was a catch, which is a tough catch because if something happens and you can make the payment, deal is over. Um, and now, 2000 March, April 2017, I found out that they were going to increase my payments, and I did the went to my budget and put the amount that they were going to request, and my budget was going to go negative, so that wasn't an option. So I decided to consolidate my federal loans, and I was able to do it. Um, also, goal of consolidating because I was working for the state at the time. I thought that okay, so maybe after I pay 10 years of federal student loans, I can have my debt forgiven. But the state ended up letting me go. So that pretty much um, changed my plans. Um, so I cannot produce the federal loans. So I still have to deal with them, and I also have to deal with the private student. So yeah, I'm in a tough situation, but it's not something that I cannot uh, get out of it. I'm going to hopefully see if I can work a deal with Navient. Um, but the threat alone is just making my life miserable because it's like my income is still too low to be able to cover my living expenses plus the the loan, and the loan just takes such a good chunk of my money that, like, I have just experienced what not having any savings can do to you. After I got let go from the state, I had 30 more days with insurance. I didn't got sick with a during that period of time, but in June this year, I began. I moved to a new apartment, and I think I might have done a heavy lifting, and I ended up injuring my lower back, and then the pain shifted to the oblique muscle, and I was in so much pain I couldn't go to work for 3 days. I had to call out, and I do feel like that's probably why they let me go, pretty much, even though I gave them a medical excuse. Um, but who knows if there were other factors. It just surprised me that they decided to end my contract. But I didn't have medical insurance, so I ended up getting slapped with a bill for. I'm going to show it. Got a bill of oh yeah, 6,300. That's the bill total. One bill for one night. I didn't find anything, so I took a day off. Still was in pain. Pain wasn't going away, so I went again to the doctor, and the second bill that I got. So yeah, um, I didn't have insurance, so I had to take the hit. So to me, that just unfortunate because, for example, if I was able to save money while I was working for the state, I think I could have had a good amount of money saved and at least to survive, But um, but even with that, it's still difficult, Like I can't save a lot of money. I'm in my 40s. I don't have retirement for the future, which totally suck. I even have to pull out the retirement when they say let me go. I decided to pull out the money for retirement because I wasn't going to do too much in there. So yeah, pull it out. Um, wasn't a lot either. So my retirement savings, they suck. Honestly, like, yeah, it's it's a bad situation and it's unfortunate. But seriously, the part that bothered me and is like having to deal with a private student loan and not be able to save money. And because I don't have my family here, like if my parents were to die tomorrow, which I hope that doesn't happen, I would not have the money to go on to Puerto Rico and deal with the emergency. And that's a sad part about the my whole financial situation. I mean, if I get sick and I can't work, I'm screwed up. So, um, not much I can do. Like it's. I just think at this point, like I think I'm beginning to regret having gone to school for for all the degrees that I did. It was when I went for the PhD degree at RPI in 2004 that I got that my student loans packed up, and then also the fact that I went to Hudson Valley later on in life too was a problem too. It added more student loans to the amount of student loans that I had. But still, the one that sucked was going to RPI because that's where I took the private student loan. And to be honest with you, I think I regret to this day. I'm beginning to regret having taken that private student loan because it has not been. It's just put me in a bad financial situation, and I don't see any way of getting myself out of it. I don't see any way that this administration is going to deal with the private student loan. Private student loan is going to be put on bankruptcy. I already went through a bankruptcy for excessive credit card debt, but the private student loan debt, it's not dischargeable for a bankruptcy, so I'm stuck with that. So my final advice for students that are going to college is like, if you're planning on taking student loans, only take federal loans, and only try to minimize how much you take in student loans. There are other options. You don't need to go to college to be able to get a good job. There are other options that you can find around. And even then, you don't even need to go to a 4 year school either. You could go to a 2 year school and develop a career out of 2 year degrees in community college. Um, but please don't take a lot of student loans. Do not take private student loans. Private student loans from companies such as Avian are bad choice. Never, never, never take a private student loan. And that's my message for anybody out there, because my life has gone downhill because of the private student loan and not be able to find a job in the field. If I had the opportunity to find a job in the field, um, I think my life would be a little bit different now. But who knows? Again, my choices too, and then decisions too. Because also, like in 2008, I can't say that I wasn't working in my field because I was working in my field for a while. But in 2009, I made a decision to quit because the governor of New York State. That was when the financial crisis happened, and the government didn't have any money, so they announced layoff. I didn't have my car at that point because I couldn't fix it anymore, so I did not have a car. So I was concerned as to what the layoff will mean, and the way that the layoff were done in the state was like they would bump people down, and then you could end up. They could have sent me to a part of New York State that I will not be willing to move, and then I will be without a job. So I decided to back down from the state, and also because I transitioned genders while I was in the state. Um, I, I felt like I needed a restart in in my life, so that's why I decided to back down. Which I think also probably was a bad idea to do that. Um, but I also wasn't going anywhere with my career either, because I had at that point I had my engineering license from Puerto Rico, but New York State Department of Education that gave me the engineer license, so I didn't have a license, so my career with the state was stuck because I didn't have the license. So even if I would have stayed with the state, not having the professional engineer license in New York State will have prevented me from going up and moving to the next level in the ladder of engineering. So I would have still been stuck in there, I think. So, and my take was like that's why I decided also to quit because I want to find a job that will help me get my engineer license faster. And for that, I knew I staying with the state wasn't going to be um, convenient for me to be able to get that. But things didn't work out the way that I wanted to, and uh, and so I I decided to go and study something different in school. Um, and I went for a business administration and accounting because other things that been going on with my life, like I also do theater and stage combat, and I also do juggling and performing arts, performing in burlesque shows around the area. As I say, I do juggling. I have my whip act, which pretty much I slice stuff from people's hands, like newspapers and flowers, and and then there's wrestling, and then I do teach actors how to fight on stage combat. So people were giving me money, so I decided to learn accounting because I wanted to keep track of. I wanted to know how to do that. I went for engineering, so accounting wasn't that difficult. Um, and I totally enjoy doing accounting. I've been thinking about getting into uh, virtual bookkeeping, but I haven't gotten the chance to work as a bookkeeper either. So um, we'll see what I can figure out. But so far, that's what's going on in my life, and I just wanted to pretty much give an update in my life. Um, so yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you are watch for 24 minutes without getting bored, because I'm pretty sure my voice will have been very bored and annoying for all of you. So bye.